Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, intuitive astrologer, Reiki master, and empowerment coach. And today I want to talk about the new moon in Leo, which is happening on July 28th, 2022 at 10:55 a.m. Pacific time. New moons come once a month. They always usher in an opportunity for a new beginning as the sun and the moon come together in the darkest phase of the moon to plant the seeds for manifestation 6 months from now when we'll see a full moon in Leo. This particular new moon in Leo is at 5 degrees. Some people may say 6 degrees. I kind of just cut off the seconds and go with the main degree because it's also at the Leo degree. That's what hits me. So this is a really, really powerful new moon in the sense that Leo rules leadership. It rules our creative expression. It rules children and romance and entertainment, things we find pleasure in. It also, the sun rules the whole zodiac. This new moon at 5 degrees Leo is going to be in a trine with Jupiter, which is in Aries, and it's stationed retrograde at 8 degrees. Jupiter's going to remain in station till the mid of August. It technically on the day of the new moon is the day that Jupiter goes retrograde. So to me, this is a super duper 5 times more powerful influence in the idea that Jupiter represents expansion and wealth and foreign ideas, foreign people, foreign places. It's a co-sign, fire sign with, it rules a fire sign Sagittarius. It's in a fire sign Aries, and it is in a favorable aspect to this new moon. So the inspirations that you have, the reflections that you have that individualize you from, say, previous beliefs that you've had, evolved beliefs, may very much be contemplated, reviewed, thought about, and the idea of planting a new way of belief or new being energy on this new moon is highly probable. The other thing that's going on during the day of the new moon is a rare event. It's a grand cross. Mercury is at 18 degrees Leo, which will be squaring the south node at 19 degrees Scorpio, which will be squaring, Mercury will be squaring the north node at 19 degrees Taurus. It will be squaring Uranus at 18 degrees Taurus, and it will be squaring Mars at 15 degrees Taurus. And it will be making an opposition to Saturn. This is super, super, super powerful in the respect that squares are tense conversations. And I believe that Mercury is going to be asking us, what are we really thinking? In the sign of Leo, are we thinking about things that are of our heart? Are we playing to our own personal creative expression? Are we feeling free within our beliefs to entertain our romances and to raise our children? The fifth house rules children, rules the conception of children. So when we see this square, which is basically hitting all 4 corners of the fixed signs, and then Saturn is making an opposition to this 4-sided square. And it is, Saturn itself is making a square to Uranus and a square to the nodes. So what all this is kind of rounding out to be is a lot of fixed energy that has sat in the dynamic of my ability to make money and my commingling of my money. Scorpio is a commingling of money. So it could be, you know, the commingling of money that we've gotten through partnership or marriage, or it could even be the commingling of our money with our funds and the stock market and where we invest our money. Uranus and the North Node and Mars all being within, at the very stretch of it, the North Node is at 19 degrees and Mars is at 15 degrees. So that's a loose conjunction, but we've got Uranus sitting right in the middle of that. And Uranus brings unexpected events. It brings a sense of anxiety and nervousness. And this square is going to exasperate that. We may see the mind, Mercury, sort of really in overdrive about what could potentially repress us, what could potentially make us feel as if our lives are not our own. That's the opposition to Saturn in its most challenging dynamic. And we are going to experience Saturn is not exactly at 23 degrees. It's not a very tight square to Uranus, but Saturn in its retrograde is moving into a tighter and tighter square with Uranus. So we are seeing this push-pull between the old and the new. And within it is this feeling of almost feel like I have a hot potato in my hand. I feel like I can't sit comfortably. The Saturn energy is making me feel nervous, and the Uranus energy is making me want to take action in an unexpected way. And that is again fueled by Mars, all in Taurus. So there's a lot going on. To me, this new moon with this Grand Cross event, there's a lot going on with money and our resources and our sense of feeling secure, our ability to make money, our ability to hold on to money, our ability to feel prosperous within our own skills. We also have Venus at 12 degrees Cancer, making a loose trine to the South Node at 19 degrees Scorpio, and sextiling Mars at 15 degrees Taurus. Here again, this is where Venus to me is really talking about my possessions, my sense of security, how I make my money, how I keep my money, how I feel my money flows in and out. And while this is making a trine to the South Node and sextiling Mars, there's a bit of a feeling of Venus in Cancer saying, do I need to take action in some way to secure myself and my things and my possessions and my home? In the United States, we've been seeing a lot of news trending about the real estate market, which would be ruled both by Cancer, Venus in Cancer, and the Taurus energy, which is also contributes to our home life. Our possessions live in our homes. Taurus rules our family history. So what I'm seeing here is a real kind of crescendo of energy that is asking me to have a really authentic and I don't know how to put it. It's like I almost feel like I'm being asked to dig down to the deepest parts of myself, to take back my power, to sort of look at the outside world and the structures and the information that is being fed to me, and to decipher it with a little bit more of I want to use the word fine-tooth comb, with a little bit more of a specific, or, oh gosh, my words are escaping me as I'm talking about Mercury. I don't want to be skeptical, but that's kind of where I'm floating around. I want to kind of decipher the information coming through without just taking it on as if it is fact. And it really doesn't matter where you're getting your information from. With Mercury being involved in so many squares around the zodiac, there's going to be tense conversations everywhere. And with the opposition to Saturn in Aquarius, there's this feeling of, am I going to continue to follow the rules and regulations about my money, while at the same time my intuitive body is telling me that I should do something different? The idea of this new moon in Leo is about trusting our heart, and also having the courage to first step into my beliefs about what my heart wants to experience, assessing what the viability of that is before I take my action. And if for some reason there's a wobble in that, then I get to sit back and sit a little bit more courageously. Leo rules the spine as well. So I think that this new moon in Leo is giving us an opportunity to really have this tense conversation about our physical security, about our ability to feel safe as we walk through the world, knowing that there will be the resources that we need, both in our food supply, our money supply, gasoline, oil, electricity, everything that we have become used to experiencing. There is a dynamic here where the squares make me feel as if these tense conversations will be very fear-based, meaning they'll be focused on lack and then the potential of more lack. And while all these things may be true to a certain degree, if we implement the universal laws, the law of vibration, the law of attraction, the law of cause and effect, and if I use my mercurial aspects of my mind, and I look at these squares and I look at this opposition to Saturn, do I buy into the tension and then fold into a place of starting to behave like I'm in scarcity or lack? Or do I start to let my mind tell a new story based on my heart with the courage of the Leo energy? And even though there is no evidence potentially of that new story, am I willing to stand in that vibration as the universe comes together and brings evidence that that is a viable experience that's being teed up by the universe? And my job as a human is to stay complementary to the solution or complementary to the alignment of what I want to experience at a higher vibration. I watch a lot of history shows, and throughout history, there are people who have thrived, who have lived lives that most people would think were impossible. People who were of color, who were under the restraints of a society that supported slavery, and yet at the same time, they owned their own land and they were free themselves. I believe that this is the divine universe giving us contrasting experiences so that as we sit in this human body, we decide where do we believe we're going to fall? Are we going to fall in the side of what might appear to be rare and unusual and thrive during those challenging times? Or are we going to fall into the mass feelings of fear and insecurity? The idea that Jupiter is trining this new moon in the 8th degree stationing is a Scorpio degree. And that degree is offering me transformation. It's offering me an opportunity to look at my beliefs about my own power and ability to create resources through my expression, through my enjoyment. Now, more than ever, people can make money on platforms on the internet that were not available to us in previous incarnations. So a person can literally have a day job and then have passive income coming through an endeavor on the internet. So when this new moon makes its tense conversation to Uranus, Uranus may be saying, you could liberate yourself. You could do something on the net, on the internet, on the web. You could do something different than you've done before. Have you reached for the stars with your dreams and desires? Because Uranus is innovative. Uranus is scientific in some ways. It's stretching to explore new territories. So when it's making a tense conversation to Mercury, which rules our everyday activities, our everyday thoughts, the momentum of what our communities foster, not just our individuality, meaning communal thought versus individual thought. Because each ethnicity, each place on the planet has its own communal thought, its own way of doing things. So that's what I think these squares are about. And as we see the North Node, Uranus and Mars come together in Taurus, we're going to see some very, very powerful energy towards the end of July and early August. It's going to be crescendoing. And while I think it's a polarizing energy, because I think those that are conscious will take the higher vibrations of these 3 points, the North Node, reaching for an experience I have only conceived in my mind. haven't really experienced in any rooted way. Uranus offering me liberation, and Mars offering me an opportunity to dig deep into my authenticity of my truth and how I take action on my truth. Mars will always have a bit of an edge to it, always have a bit of an assertive energy, maybe even called aggressive. But I believe that as the planets evolve, Mars and Saturn together are learning how to work as a strategic army, rather than taking a knee-jerk reaction to situations. We're going to sit back and observe the landscape and allow the universe to also inspire us through action. The new moon, the sun and the moon coming together in Leo this month, trining Jupiter, is an opportunity for inspired action. And all the squares that are happening to Mercury in Leo, which is not, they're 13 degrees apart, but they're in the same house having the same conversation. And frankly, if I didn't know better, I'd think Mercury was yelling. It's at the 18th degree and it's squaring all these planets. It's opposing Saturn. I think it might be just a little upset. And so as we find our mind running amok with thoughts that upset us, and I am really taking a social media diet in the sense of people are they're expressing themselves in such a unforgiving way, meaning that this is my opinion, and they're inadvertently sort of going to war with other people who have differing opinions. And I'm seeing this over multiple platforms in varying ways. So I'm inspired to do these videos, not because I've mastered any of these energies, but in my awareness of them, I can decide as best I can to be in the moment and know that the actions and the beliefs that I take here are setting up what's going to happen tomorrow. So I want to take advantage of Venus's loose conjunction with the South Node in Scorpio and say to myself, okay, where can I be egoless in how I have created my money or given up my power to another person or an entity, and utilizing that sextile at the 15th degree, which is the Taurus degree. No, I'm sorry, that's the Gemini degree. The Gemini degree, again, my mind. How can I use the Venus sextile with Mars at the Gemini degree to shift my thinking, to align myself with taking peaceful action that is more in alignment with Mars and the hero energy, the energy of being brave and courageous. That's what we see with Mars, with Aries, and with Leo and the sun. So for this new moon, which is coming at a time when a lot of the planets are sort of writhing in a time of how can I explain this? This grand cross feels like we all feel like we're in a box. And in that box, we're fixed in that box because this box is in all fixed signs. And Saturn's opposition within that to Mercury may make this feeling of being kind of blanketed with this heavy energy. So I think it's important for us to really focus in on what do I want to experience in the future, and what am I willing to walk through in the way of being uncomfortable as I unravel my own beliefs. When I say unravel, I mean digging deeper and deeper and deeper into the motivations of what I think, speak, and what I teach others through my actions. And as a result of that, I think we can see these squares end up working for us versus pulling us apart. And while there will always be other people who don't study astrology, who are not walking a path of awareness of their own energy and the ripple effect of their energy, those are not the people we should be paying attention to right now, because our focus on them will exasperate the more challenging dynamics of this new moon versus taking advantage of some of the harmonious aspects of this new moon. So when we think to ourselves, There's going to be inflamed people. There's going to be people defending their position, willing to go to war over their position. How do I want to show up in the midst of that? Do I want to spend my vital life force energy fighting with another situation that really isn't going to come to any beneficial conclusion? And I think as we as individuals take that moment to decide, how do I want to show up? Because if I'm looking out at my government and looking for them to be compassionate, looking for people to see their brother and their sister versus somebody other than that, an opposing energy, then I must purport that energy. I must allow myself the privilege to be that energy. And I'm not talking about passivity. I'm talking about, where is my mind? What do I think about? What do I muse about? What do I lose sleep over? And examining that more closely, and then claiming it in a way that, well, if I can think about this, then I can also, if I can think about the problem, I can also think about a solution. And if I can't find the details of the solution, I can open up a wide enough space for the universe to start to give me experiences that support the solution. So this is going to be a very, very powerful new moon. And I think it's going to usher in a new sense of leadership. And I don't know if I'm looking outside myself for that leadership as much as I'm looking inside. And again, really focusing in on the idea that Mercury is making a huge aspect to this, with all the squares and the opposition that are taking place almost simultaneously as we have this new moon. I hope that was helpful. I will be back soon with a new video. Please subscribe, like, and share. And I look forward to your comments. If you'd like to book a reading with me, my information is below in the description. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, Reiki master, angel therapy practitioner, and empowerment coach. And thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.